Hello, welcome to an Ixalan draft with a nice first pick here, Fathom Fleet Captain. A little sad that there's another premium black card in the pack, Contract Killing, and a premium card for the Vampire deck, the Deacon, and I guess Tormentor's pretty good too. The next person in line, it really just depends on if they've found a reason to be in a lane yet. They might want to pursue Merfolk, Vampires, I guess, you know, some black deck, but the Fleet Captain has enough upside of getting it down early and making another 2/2 that we'll go for that here. And tricks are good in the format enough that sometimes they just won't want to block it, even if they do have a double block, for fear of being blown out by some trick in the colors like Sure Strike in red, black. Drover might be the second most exciting card here. Just depending on your preferences. If you're not into dinosaurs so much, you could speculate on a Merfolk card or a Vampire card. I'll go with the Captain though. It's a little different, which is good. And following it up, the Shipwreck Looter I guess is fine. The best card here to sort of stay open is Skymarch Bloodletter. But yeah, let's highlight this pack. We've got Sky Terror. I'm not a huge fan of the Armosaur. Obviously, it's fine, it's good. But the Buccaneers is fine, similar to the Armosaur, 4 drops. Deeproot Warrior, another exciting one. Pious Interdiction, also exciting. Bloodletter, good in any deck that wants a 2/2 flyer for 3. And that looks like our deck, despite not being on Tribe. Ooh, Wanted Scoundrels. Now that is on Tribe for the Fathom Fleet Captain and is quite the solid pickup here. You can sort of see rare is missing and some common is missing, so it is worth investing in a Tribe early just to get the payoff. The Tribes generally dry up in playables quickly, so you have to sort of spend high picks on high variance cards. But yeah, we'll go with the Scoundrels there. That's hope to keep seeing these things come, and we're passing a few Merfolk cards and a Fire Cannon Blast. But it's possible that if people take Merfolk, we'll get the Blue Pirates back. Let's see, we're drafting against Kangjen H. This is some Gorgon avatar I haven't seen before. Stiller, Remo, Tilla, L something or other, and Oracle 88, KBZN. Quite the crew of drafters here. Alright, Deadeye Tormentor. Yeah, the later we pick an off-color card, the later we'll have to decide on our lane, sort of. Mono-black pirates, maybe that could be a thing. But certainly with our early attackers, the Tormentor becomes quite nice. Especially good against dinosaur decks if they have 6 drops, 5 drops in their hand, and even taking a land can be pretty bad for them. So yeah, I'll go with the Tormentor there. Pirate's Prize, wow, with new art. No, Lookout's Dispersal though looks good. We've got Storm Sculptor, which is fine, and Grazing Whiptail pretty good, Run Aground pretty good, but the efficient counter magic in Dispersal, just a better mana leak here. Yeah, I'll take that. Better when you have a pirate out, which will be most of the time, given how things look here. Okay, Interloper versus Sailor of Means. In general, I think you want to be playing high power in this format, which makes having 1 or 2 of these cards with high toughness appealing because they can just block. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Interloper. We're not even that sure about our second color, but we're pretty well established in black, and this cuts black even more from the table. And getting a nice little menace threat on the board is also appealing. Okay, March of the Drowned. a really cheap way to bring back your cheap creatures and keep the aggression up. This format doesn't seem to be about the size of the creatures as much as the number of them. And yeah, all of our best creatures are going to be pirates anyway, so let's take a march. Colossal Dreadmaw. I mean, that said, if your creature is a 6/6 trample, and your opponent has to throw 3 creatures into it to even stand a chance, that gets pretty good. But this is expensive. If you put your opponent on the back foot with a couple early 2-drops, then Dreadmaw might just be too late to save you. Territory. Yeah, the most likely card to have any impact here. I mean, I suppose opening Vrask is one thing to get us into green, but in that case we'll be fine with our treasures if we get them. I'll take the territory. And Dive Down or Brazen Buccaneers. Paladin wheeling. The black cards disappeared, so maybe someone will be happy to get a Paladin, go into vampires and leave us alone. Dive Down, yeah, it's really between the Dive Down and the Buccaneers. We have 1 flyer so far. Black-blue flyers could be a thing. I'll go with the Dive Down. And another Buccaneers, so that's late. Costly Plunder. I'll go with the Storm Sculptor. If we're lucky, we'll get a Hostage Taker, so we can reset that with the Sculptor here. Prying Blade. Late River Herald's Boon for the Merfolk deck. Swashbuckling. Double Sculptor. While 2 is a little harder to justify in the deck, I mean, sometimes you just won't have something to bring back. Spreading Rod is just not a card I'll look to put in my decks. Alright, Pack 2 has some exciting cards for somebody. The only black card is a great card for vampires and nowhere else. Then we've got Settle the Wreckage and Ixalan's Binding. The Binding is highly splashable. We don't have many of those good treasure makers. Wow, this would just be the pack to open for a white sealed deck. White-red sealed deck. Yeah, so our second color is blue, Prosperous Pirates. That would help cast something like Settle the Wreckage. Yeah, for consistency and power, I think it's just taking the Binding and hoping we can splash it off the treasures we get. Alright, alright. So, 2 good ones here, the Plunderers and Storm Tamer. Skullduggery. And we look to be well set up with blue-black now. So either of these would be good picks for us. I'm going to go with the Plunderers. Storm Tamer is a little more efficient, but we're kind of lacking the finishing push here. That's got to be close. And if we're not heavy blue, like if we're just really on the splash, then the Plunderers will be easier to cast. Ooh, another Wanted Scoundrels, wow. Yeah, pretty easy to pick that up. It's just deal with it or take a lot of damage. And then we can start prioritizing more spells like Dive Down and Skullduggery. And even if it wasn't foil, I'd be taking a look at this opt here. We've got a Looter, we've got a Windstrider, those are fine. But the exciting card here is probably just opt. It makes your deck so much more consistent. And it is foil no less, so that's kind of neat. Direfleet Hoarder versus Blightkeeper. Now this is a card people love drafting early. I'm still not quite that high on it, but Direfleet Hoarder, also kind of annoying for people to deal with. It is a pirate. It does make treasure, so it makes splashing something like Ixalan's Binding easier. It helps out the Plunderers. It might cast an early 4-drop. Overall, I like the Hoarder here, and it's a pirate for our captain, so it's worth picking that up. Wow. Contract Killing. Sure, so that works perfectly in this deck. The treasures help splash, the treasures help our plunderers, and the killing helps everything. Now this would have been a good pack to take all the cards out of. Storm Tamer, Tormentor, Mark of the Vampire, and some other stuff, but I'm really deciding here between Storm Tamer and Mark. We don't have a Mark yet. I'm not sure what card it would be so good on. I guess it's pretty good on the Storm Sculptors. That said, I'm going to go with the Storm Tamer. It's always going to be great, and hopefully we can pick up another Mark if we really need it. And that's the curve you want, right? Captain into land, Storm Tamer, make a guy. So now we can actually do that. There aren't too many one-drop pirates. Most of them are uncommon or rare. Dreadnought. Costly Plunder, yeah. Having an extra treasure lying around or Dire Fleet Hoarder makes Costly Plunder worth playing here. I like Dive Down, I like this Opt, I like March. Yeah, and that's another reason to be playing more pirates. Got all these 2-drop pirates and 1-drop pirate. The March of the Drowned just does so much more with a bunch of pirates. Revel. Yeah, like I said, I'm not looking to play Spreading Rot, but Revel is an exciting way to win a game. If you can get there. I think maybe once in this whole format I've done it. Of course, my opponent conceded before my upkeep, so it didn't technically win off it, but pretty much. It was the impending victory that made them concede. Another powerful pack. We've got Drowned Catacombs, which I'd love to pick up, and I love the art on this too. But there's another Deadeye Plunderers and a just good old Contract Killing. Yeah, now that we're solidly in blue-black, I wonder what's better here. I'm going to go with the card I'm sure about, which is Contract Killing. The Plunderers is exciting. I'm sure they're good in multiples, but Contract Killing just deals with anything, lets our early stuff get in. And I would imagine a Deadeye Plunderers is more likely to wheel than a Contract Killing, although neither are too likely. Even if no one else is in blue-black, the playables will dry up enough that someone would just say, "Hey, I'll take someone's Plunderers." Wow, another one. We'll keep getting these Contract Killings, and that is all right with me. Dragon Skull Summit, another land to help splash out of this deck, but we don't have anything to splash. No Lightning Strikes. Take the consistent removal spells. Wow, this is a pack. This is a pack for Teamer. It's got like 7 Teamer playables. Shoot, not even a foil island. We've got our Ferocidon, Savage Stomp, Shapers, Stormfleet, all premium. Fire Cannon Blast, Ixalan's Keeper, and Opt, also just great additions to any deck. We'll take the Stormfleet Aerialist here. It's another chance at our Mark of the Vampire, but I'm starting to like these 2-drop pirates. Oh boy, Navigator's Ruin. Not going all in on that. So we've got Dire Fleet Hoarder and March of the Drowned. And Sailor of Means. Maybe it's worth getting the Sailor of Means. It gets us to the 5 mana we might need to survive. And it is a 1/4 blocker. We don't really have that effect yet, so there are a lot of 3/1 threats out there that will get indestructible or first strike or whatever, and this kind of deals with those. Yeah, I'll go with the Sailor of Means. If it was earlier and we didn't have 2 already, I might take the Hoarder, but this fills in a slot that we don't really have. anything going on in. Direfleet Interloper and Raider's Wake. If this deck can do anything, it's attack. We need some way to finish out a game, or at least put our opponent well on the back foot, and Raider's Wake should be able to do that. And you know what? We'll get our Interloper anyway. That and the Cobbled Wings. So Cobbled Wings is a pretty nice combo with the Plunderers because this thing gets bigger and bigger and you want it to get some evasion. It's also not bad with these Wanted Scoundrels or even Direfleet Captain. So what's the pick here between that and the Interloper? I guess the Sculptors have a similar role as the Interloper. I'll go with the Cobbled Wings here. Oh, and there's our Mark back, which I think we're okay to take. Not too exciting here, but the Heartstopper has upside. Another dive down, or just a good old Prosperous Pirates. The Pirates is good. One problem we have is that we don't really have payoffs for getting over 5 mana. So while the contract killings are just good on their front side, you're paying 5 mana for a 3/4. If you can't use the treasures, you're not getting much out of it. You get another dive down here. And that should be good. Nice little island there. That should be good. We don't have... No, we already have one of those. We don't have too few playables, so that's nice. But we do have too many playables. And that's something we have to fix. Take out one dive down. A lot of our... It's a similar role to the March in a deck like this, because our guys are small and expendable for the most part. Costly Plunder, kind of diversify our early stuff here. Maybe one more cut would do it. So we're just not going to splash red here. We could splash the binding, it wouldn't be hard. And it is a solid deal with everything removal spell. But what to cut for it? So definitely leaving in the killings and the Raider's Wake. It's pretty easy to attack with this deck. Sailor of Means might be on the weaker side for a defensive deck like, or an offensive deck like this. I could see cutting Costly Plunder, but I like the card advantage there. Just a lot of early stuff. Dive Down is really good with the Wanted Scoundrels, and it might make it better than something like Costly Plunder. Because at that point, what are we sacrificing? Yeah. 16-8. So that looks like a 10-7 or even 10-6 deck. We have two or three things we really want to do on time in blue. So 6 should be plenty. And we have enough removal that we don't need the binding. I'd rather have Raider's Wake and Mark of the Vampire, which we'll almost always be able to cast, and we don't have to do anything special for the binding. Like, part of the good part about binding is you can do it on turn 4, but in this deck, it's more likely we'll get it off on turn 6, if at all. So, yeah, blue-black control. Let's try it out. Hello and welcome to round 1. Keep this hand. We've got our little bug and a Wanted Scoundrels. Match made in heaven. Oh no, they've got their 1-drop. What are we to do here? Well, we're not going to give away our secret blue plan here. We don't need to. Oops. But we'll be happy that they're playing blue-green instead of some combination of colors that could kill the scoundrels early. Bouncing it's not as bad. I mean, it just costs 2. Deep-root warrior, yeah, that's not going to do it. Let's see what happens here. So the question is whether to attack with both or just one. I think I'll attack with both. I can't imagine them blocking the Deep-root warrior on the Heartstopper, but I guess it'd be okay if they did. Attacking with both also makes it look like we don't want them to double block the scoundrels, but I guess, you know, it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't give too much away either way. They might just not block. Well, it's taking a lot of damage early from the scoundrels here. Next turn, draw Mark of the Vampire, get in for 6 lifelink. Oops, they lose if they don't have anything. That's why you need to put a couple bounce spells in your blue-green deck, even if your main strategy is powerful enough. You just drafted a perfect curve of creatures and pump spells. Put that bounce spell in there because some lifelink combos are just too strong to deal with without it. Getting aggressive. See if they pump them up. No. See if they miss their land drop. No. Just going to be Tishana's Wayfinder. Finding Water Trap Weaver, which is pretty good. I really want to get Raider's Wake down here. Ah, well, shoot. We'll see what happens. No reason to play the Swamp first main. There is some merit to leaving back the Heartstopper. Because then they'll be forced to use their Weaver on it. I would guess their plan is to block the scoundrels. We'll save it here. A shame we can't use our Raider's Wake right away. But not too big of a shame, right? Because now we have the captain to attack next turn. Everyone loves this guy. Join me. We're pirates. We just take the world. I don't know. What do you suppose their plan is here? We know they have Weaver in hand. I'll make this trade, or try to. The Heartstopper can be a nice attacker, but trade up for mana there. They might tap the Fleet Captain, yeah, that makes sense. But then, I really want to use Raider's Wake, but they definitely block with both. At this point, they kind of have to. And then while we do get the Raider's Wake trigger, we won't be able to trigger our Fathom Fleet Captain next turn yet, so we're better off going in for the kill here. And it's not like our only contract killing in the deck, so if they find some other monster that we can't deal with, then maybe we can draw into another killing. But the Merfolk deck is known for just having a lot of similar creatures and just pumping them. So they don't love this, but there is nothing in 1 green they can do to stop it. So what are you going to do? Tell you what they're not going to do. Stop it. Yeah, so next turn we could draw absolutely nothing and still play both Raider's Wake and make a captain, such as the power of extra treasure. They just don't know what to do over there. I guess it would start with taking 4. Well, it's also going to start with us taking 1 or 2, maybe? Maybe we take 2 damage here. We're threatening to attack for 8, as long as they have cards in their hand at the end of this turn. Wow, Shipwreck Looter. And they've already played a land, so if they play 2 spells here, that would protect them from the wake. Alright, our turn. It's our time to shine here. They could have the Merfolk Pump spell to trade with our Scoundrels, but they still can't have anything to deal with the Fathom Fleet Captain, especially after it's already attacked. Here we go. Wow, take a million. The thing they could have here is counter magic, but they're still in a bad way. They might concede to this if they don't want to, show us any more information. And that would also deal damage for them looting Raider's Wake, kind of a Megrim effect. The old effect that did that. Right. What do we do here? Sailor of Means is interesting. We're going to be on the draw, and this blocks most things. Can be annoying to deal with, and sure, they can pump to get through it, and that's annoying to deal with, but not too bad. Anything worth cutting for it? It's possible Mark is weak against their deck if they are playing Bounce. Tormentor's good. Yeah, I'm just going to submit again like this. We've got enough to deal with attackers that, the 1/4 is not going to matter too much. The best part about that card, again, is ramping up to 5 mana for the contract killing. I think on the draw we'll be able to hit our 5 mana in plenty of time. This is a hand. This has one of our most busted starts, besides starting with a 1-drop pirate. Get our Scoundrels out, attack, and make an aerialist. And if we're really lucky, the turn after that we'll have Raider's Wake to punish their lack of flying blockers. They're down to 6, but yeah, like I said, the only mistake you can make here is misclicking the mulligan button. That always feels bad. I've done that before. Wow, this hand's great, mulligan. There we go. Those are the types of things that are really hard to do accidentally in real life. Mulligan, wait, keep! Sorry, you've already shuffled your hand into your deck. But I didn't mean to. When this set first came out, there was a lot of lag going on. All those pros hacking into the servers, well, mainly just slamming a bunch of draft queues in a row. But I don't know. This is this opponent has some lag of their own. All right, they have returned for a moment. Let's see. Well, let's see what they got. They have an island. Can they play an island here? It's quite possible they're just double queuing and they want to come back every couple minutes to make a game action. Or we'll see. Merfolk. Deeproot Warrior. Got it. So our Scoundrels doesn't block that. Neither does our Hoarder really well, but it attacks into it. And there's not a whole lot they can play on 3 mana. Not the Merfolk deck that would block the Scoundrels on its own. Can't think of a thing unless it's just a 3 mana 3/3. But yeah, we'll take this. Oh, that would do it. That would do it if it found a non-land. But yeah, let's come in for 4. And it's even interesting. It's an interesting question whether to play the Aerialist or the Hoarder, because the Hoarder is a safer blocker for the Wayfinder if they have a pump spell, because then we could go straight into Contract Killing and Stormfleet Aerialist the next turn. Yeah, you know, I'm going to do that. Yeah, if we get this Contract Killing down, that's just a 3 mana Contract Killing when we have a 2-drop in our hand. Now if they don't attack into the Hoarder, things are not quite as good. Okay, so I imagine we block here and they pump 1 on each. Or they're just gonna give us our treasure. Now I wonder if they play a 3/3 hexproof. Ah, that's a good one. That's a pretty good one. Still, I don't want to be taking all of this damage, so how about we kill the warrior? It's a harder creature to block. The Frostlink's already got its value. No blue except the unclaimed territory, so no blue tricks is the real bonus here. Yeah, this looks great. 6 or 7 mana, we attack with the Scoundrels. What if they flash in some big dinosaur? I guess that would be fine. They can't counter anything, so let's just play our stuff out, including Raider's Wake here. Maybe we'll pick off a blue spell. Yep, run aground right before they draw their island. Here we go. Stiller plays island. Nope, not getting lucky. And they don't have a trick either. Or if they do, they're not showing it. Well, I'll bite. Very little they could have. They could have a +3/+3 pump spell to kill off our Scoundrels and open up blue mana for them. Now, if they just drew their flash creature, that's pretty exciting. Yeah, they got it. But either way, we get our Raider's Wake trigger, and they'll let us have our Scoundrels. Be the most efficient here. It's like it already has 2 damage on it, so Contract Killing is just a 5 mana Hornet Sting right now. But it's still, you know, the only way we can deal with their 3/3 flyer, which by itself trades with the Scoundrels. So I think this is pretty good here. And we'll use up the last of our treasures for an Interloper. And that's going to put some real pressure on them because they're at 4. Why not? We'll keep our dive down. Perilous. Yeah, with this card in their hand, I wonder what the whole deal was not blocking the scoundrels. I mean, you know, they're just dead on board here. No, they're not dead on board because they don't have any cards in hand. They can't discard cards if they don't have any cards in hand to begin with. Maybe we can strand a blue card in their hand. I think that's what we go for here. If they draw some kind of perilous voyage, run aground, then they just don't get to play it, and we can attack in to kill it. That would be good. Dive down. Dive down does not do much against this Dreadmaw. We need our third contract killing. There we go. It's not a contract killing, but it is an unblockable, nonsensical creature. So we'll play this, return our scoundrels, and pass, because we want to hold up dispersal and dive down and things. They know about dive down because that was explored. Everyone gets to see your exploration, apparently. Yeah? We're coming in for 6? Okay. I'll take 6. I love that. Sometimes they make an attack and they needed you to block, so they'll just concede once you declare no blocks. But maybe they'll pump it for 3. We'll take 9. Wow, getting really close. Dispersal. If they have like another Colossal Dreadmaw, Dispersal will be good, but otherwise they're going to have too much mana. Alright, that was a tense attack step, but we're back. We made it. Okay, so they need bounce here. They could also survive by flashing in a creature, but the creature would have to be a 5-drop because the 4-drop little siren can't block, and they don't have a pirate out, so just playing around all the possible cards in the format here. And it's a flash creature, which gets countered. Alright, we did it. We won a game of Magic. And the important game, too. This is the second game, and on to match 2. Round 2 versus Kite Flyer of Hell. Man, taking kite flying to the next level and mulliganing, and I will keep. Extreme kite flying, like Ben Franklin style here. Whew. They're keeping 6. Our game plan is for them not to have any flying blockers forever, and drawing wanted scoundrels. So a nice little curve out here, and when they double kill our scoundrels and Storm Tamer, get them back. Get him in for 1 here. Black. So make your bets. Is this vampires or is it pirates? Or does the coin fall on its side and it's chupacabras? That would be the third option here. Wow, nothing to do. I feel so behind. We missed our turn 3. Oh wait, they missed their turn 1, 2, and 3. And 4. The only interaction they could have on 4 is like the 2-mana flash 1/1, which doesn't really interact favorably. Ah, the other thing they could have is a kill spell for the Storm Tamer. Kill target creature with power 3 or less. Vanquish something? Vanquish the Weak? Oh, I remembered its name. Moving up. They might just shoot it off there, although maybe they're hoping they can get more value out of it, being this far behind. Magic is easy. Oh, it's the blue-black the blue-black Merfolk deck. Got it. Yeah, now we have to watch out for 3/3 flash flyers. But it's possible we just attack into that anyway. Whoa, Direfleet Ravager. So they take 3. They're down to 4. We take some number, but pretty sure that's not going to affect us, especially since we just win here. We could also get them to 1. But I don't think that's... there's no reason to take that risk when they can stabilize so easily. Cool. So it is some kind of like aggro blue-black pirate deck, which is totally fine. Except it means we have to watch out for things like Mark of the Vampire and their own bounce. It might make Duress better. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. It makes Duress better. It sure does. And it makes Dive Down pretty good. I'm not sure if Cobbled Wings is the answer. We've never resolved Plunderers or Cobbled Wings, but we have all this stuff here to make it hard for them to block in the first place. And Dive Down does the same thing. Like, unless they have a few Death Touchers, I mean, I guess they're likely to have those. We don't need to fly over. We can just use our other tricks or our Duress to pave the way. And blue-black, I mean, they might have flyers of their own, so Cobbled Wings, you know, if everyone has flyers, Cobbled Wings doesn't do much. Oh no. Oh dear. Well, I like keeping bad hands, but I don't like keeping terrible hands. Okay, this is maybe a bit better. I think with the Scry we should be able to find something to do. We have a lot of 2-drops in the deck, and we don't have a lot of 5-drops. So if we bottom this, the worst thing we could draw is like our 3rd Contract Killing, or like a Mark of the Vampire. Is it too risky to bottom this? No, I think I'm just going to bottom it. It's not like it looks weird, but we could just draw another land here and then we'd be fine. Yeah. Not the right land, but it's a land. Duress, are we stealing like their best stuff here? 2 bounce spells. And they've got Shipwreck Looter, Stormfleet Aerialist, and Water Trap Weaver. Wow, so they kept a little one lander of their own, backed up by their Skittering Heartstopper. Let's get rid of... That's tough. Let's get rid of Perilous Voyage. And then they fixed it so that cards you reveal don't pop up like 3 or 4 times. Cool. So it looks like they don't have a play here. Even if they drew a black spell, they only have 1 mana. No, they drew the perfect card. They drew Island. Those Kite Flyers are some lucky people. Are they just gonna keep top decking land here? They've got Shipwreck Looter. Discarding Depths? Well, they have 2 extra cards to decide from. Desperate Castaways, totally reasonable. At this point, I'm glad bottomed that first swamp. We could still come back into this. What do? They get land here. Maybe not. Just take the least damage. I mean, I realize the Dire Fleet Hoarder is one of the better things to trade with the Heartstopper. But at the same time, oh man, this is pretty awkward. Let's just contract kill the flyers, because we're not guaranteed to draw land this next turn, and if we play the Plunderers and they just bounce it, then we can't even play it again. This way, yeah, this way will be okay. They can leave this. They can leave their guy back to block at this point. And now it's a 5/5 Plunderers instead of a tiny one. And when it dies, by trading with the Heartstopper, for instance, we'll just get it back again. Why do they attack here? They must have drawn land. I'm just going to go for the block. So this way, if they did draw land, they can't play another spell. And they didn't. So that works. Let's march. Return 2 pirates. And we have plenty of land here, so I think we just... Well, that's close. Nah, we don't want to give our Plunderers -2/-2 for the pleasure of playing a 2/1. Seven cards, 2 lands. No, that's a below average draw. Nope, no land for you. Thought for sure you thought wrong. That's why you have to put 34 lands in your deck, so you're guaranteed to see at least 1 land in your opening hand. I mean, desperate times. Unless you mulligan, then you might not see any land. You'll see the land off the scry. It's alright, they'll get us next game. But if we flood the board here, I mean, even if they draw that first bounce spell, they're in pretty bad shape. What do they play this turn? Water Trap Weaver to tap this down. Or maybe they're just going to use the bounce. Well, the bounce isn't going to work so well anymore. Nine. Is it worth making a treasure? Yeah, why not? We have nothing to contract kill. So they bounce our Plunderers, and of course the only reason we make the treasure there is we have our dive down. Yeah. Yeah, that's enough, they say. We don't even get the extra treasure off the depths. Hello, and welcome to the finals. We're given the opportunity to keep a bad hand like our opponent had last time. But at least we have the color we need for most of our spells. We've got our turn 1 Heartstopper. Do we want to try to be more lucky than they were and draw land? I think not. So let's mulligan this Heartstopper, if you will. And they're going to mulligan too. Yeah, the cards are just not modal. They only do what they do. And you don't get to morph your 6-drop. You don't get to cycle your 7-drop. So, okay, sorry, Hoarder. We'll have to play it next turn to release it from its shadow realm. Just a few visual bugs here. Merfolk in the finals. Well, we beat a Merfolk deck already. There he goes. So how hard is this going to be? They scryed to the bottom too, but they've got their second color here. One with the wind. That is a scary start from the Merfolk deck. 4 damage on turn 2. And we don't have the answer for it. Not even close yet. Yep, that's scary. One of the 2 fastest starts in the format, both doing 4 damage on turn 2. The other way's in red-white. So black just doesn't have anything fast going on. Alright, so we'll take 12 off this guy, no problem, but then we get to contract kill it. And then it's a 2-for-1. Wow. So as long as they don't do anything else, we'll have all that extra value. Next turn we get a 1-for-1 with the Raider's Wake. Of course, if they have Dive Down, then we're in a bad way. That would not be easy to beat. Just Jace. If only we had an island there. It's just Jace. Don't worry about it. So now we have 2 pretty powerful opponents, Ragtimer and his buddy Jace. This is life loss. Great. Anyway, target creature you control. Can't do stuff anyway. I want to attack here. They just trade with the illusion almost surely. And then, well, if they do trade with the illusion, oh, they're just going to lose Jace. They don't want us to get our second color. But then we could contract to kill that guy, so interesting. That was savvy of them. I like that not blocking. Because now we're on a 2-turn clock. And we really need this extra mana now. Or any land off the top would do it. Now it would not. Spells your opponents cast that target a merfolk you control cost 2 more to cast. Alright, so we'll just have to wait 2 more turns. That's not a problem. I'm not worried. We can get some extra information here. The funny... I don't know how funny it is, but the thing about this is if we contract kill the illusion for 5 mana, the only thing we can target, it's just countered so we don't get the treasure. So there's no good option. The one thing we could do is contract to kill our own guy and get 3 treasures. Okay, they've got lots of keepers. Alright, so that was game 1. That was exciting. The perfect storm of what we can't deal with. Tell you what, Duress has got to come in here. It can maybe pick off some early planeswalkers. Or even one with the winds. Cobbled Wings? Yeah, I like Cobbled Wings. Giving some evasion lets us attack. Lets us attack into planeswalkers. Dive Down, I'm not so sure about that. They seem to be mostly offense, and having the one of Dive Down is good, but yeah, Duress is similar and maybe just better here. Certainly easier to cast with our mana base. On the play, taking back the initiative. And maybe they just mulligan to their busted opening. But we've got our captain here Yep, down to 6. Keeping 6 and scrying to the bottom. So we've seen that before. Try out some foil optage here. Swamp? Yeah, I like swamp. Don't like two. Like if I knew the next card was swamp too, and wouldn't be quite as good. But one thing we might have wanted was just to try to opt into a 1-drop thing. Can't really do that though. I'll feel silly if the next card is Siren Storm Tamer. Order. We don't have the interaction, but Skullduggery is one your opponents think about more. You pretty much have to play around it against the black deck. Speaker on top. They've got a 3/3. I'd love to play Raider's Wake, but the Menace is a little too appealing here. And Direfleet Hoarder. Cobbled Wings also kind of appealing, because if we draw that land, we get to go Raider's Wake and equip. Let's see what they're doing. Speaker. We knew about that. Shaper Apprentice. Alright, I kind of like just attacking with our pirate and playing Raider's Wake. No blocks. I'm getting some value this game. Like it or not. We're getting some dang value. Apprentice, so maybe they have their own attacking stuff, but then Cobbled Wings lets something attack in. Probably the captain. Daggertooth. Chart a course. Yeah. It's reasonable. They might have just saved their land to discard to Raider's Wake. But no guarantee we even play it. Oh, what about this? Let's go ahead and contract kill the Wayfinder. And then attack in and make another dude with the captain. I don't mind if they come back and attack us for some amount. But I imagine, yeah, they just double block on this. And we can trade with Kumena's Speaker. So they just go down to 6. And the Shaper Apprentice loses flying temporarily. It just depends on what they drew. So they discard something. They discard Spell Pierce. It's going to be a tough game for them. Ooh, Water Trap Weaver getting a pirate. And then that thing is flying. All right, so I believe the correct attack here is such. Nah, let's just attack with everything. This way they gain life off the Daggertooth after damage is dealt. Oh, they're still going for the double block. Yeah, well now I'm really glad we attacked with the Hoarder. We'll just kill the Weaver so they don't gain any life yet. and it will happen after combat damage, so the next attack phase they could lose before gaining the life off the Daggertooth, even if they have a good block with it. But I'm pretty sure if this flyer dies, the Scoundrels will, or whatever, will win in the air with Cobbled Wings. Oh, and they have a card left in their hand, so they're just dead to this attack, unless it's a trick. Ah, it is quite the trick. Alright. Scoundrels. Get 2 pirates. Maybe they'll foolishly loot here. I think... Yeah, the Menace wins in the air this next turn with Cobbled Wings. But I think it might have been better to play Fathom Fleet Captain over the Scoundrels. Just did things out of order there. Worth keeping in mind. So again, Dive Down, while fine, seems to be... They're not like the super bounce version of this. They're sort of the pump up their own creatures version. More of their cards do that kind of thing. Storm Sculptor is not amazing. It is quite good if you're playing against pacifism effects, Pious Interdiction. Just bounce the creature they lock down and play it again. But we have one. One should be good. The triple contract killing is the real thing to work towards here. Ooh. Yeah, they're down to 6 again. And if they do find that busted opening, there's not much we can do. However, on their turn 3, we can counter almost whatever they do, and they don't have a busted opening. They have a tame opening, which is good for us. Yeah, maybe that thing gets one with the Winded. There's something to be said for having your opponent not know if you have access to your second color. And unless there was a good reason to play black, like for instance having a walk the plank in our deck somewhere, but we don't have that, so I think playing Island makes sense here. We'll have plenty of black mana by the time we play Contract Killing. No one with the Wind here. Maybe we counter Tishana's Wayfinder. Or this guy. Yeah, happy to counter that. Look out for that guy, for sure. Yeah. We are losing this race. We're losing the race, but it's nice to bring back a really cheap card with Storm Sculptor. You're not getting a ton of value, but we weren't going to attack with it anyway, apparently. And then, the least exciting mode of Storm Sculptor, Chump Duty. If we had Mark of the Vampire in our hand, maybe that would be another plan, but we do not. So we want to trade this with Ixali's Keeper. And that makes more sense. It's not a Merfolk, so they can't double pump it to win the fight. And we know they have plenty of those. So what do we have? Oops. Let's do things right here. Might as well hold up a blue when you have an effect that costs blue. But in this case, we would want to trade with the Water Trap Weaver because of other reasons. Okay, Jace creating a thing, but no flying blocker for the Storm Tamer. Kind of a weird little game going on here. Not Jace not at his best. So we definitely kill Jace here. 3 mana, 2/2 illusion. And then what? Hold back a Wanted Scoundrels. Contract killing is not exciting here. I want to spend that after they pump their guy. Oh no. Yeah, if we were at lower life, of course we just kill anything. I could have countered that. Spell or ability. Yeah, so now we're taking 6 and then... I guess I should have countered it. Live and learn. I should have countered it. Yeah. Was not thinking. We'll have to just kill a creature here. And they do have the dive down, so that means we have to... They just wouldn't have been able to attack. There's the Wayfinder. Finding Jade Guardian. It's been a good game. We got some value by killing Jace. We had decisions to make and we made the bad ones. And that's how it goes. Can I just draw land here? Then I'll say, okay, we probably lose anyway. Alright, we probably lose anyway. But yeah, it was a good deck. I thought this came together quite nicely. And we even had some play here against this draw. Like, if we did get the Mark of the Vampire, they didn't have interaction with it. All of their stuff was based on assembling their own board and protecting it. So that, you know, they probably had one bounce spell or something. But yeah, good luck in your drafts.